Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Dr. Rebecca Hall and DeWanda Wise about the audio play Wake, exclusively debuting on Audible June 17th. Thank you both so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Dr. Hall, the graphic novel and part memoir it's really accessible. Both the language and the visuals are very important in terms of people finding out about this very important untold part of history. So I'm just curious, now there's another medium, there's the audio play coming out now, so it could become even more accessible, basically. How important is that to you specifically?
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything to me. To make this information accessible without dumbing it down is like everything to me. You know, and so this format of the graphic narrative allows me to make this accessible, but keep it in all its complexity. And I feel like, you know, the audio drama is the same. You know, it's very particular. And, you know, there's a whole where DeWanda teaches a law school classroom on the Fourth Amendment. Well, DeWanda playing me. You know, so I love the particularity, the specificity, but I still really hope, you know, it just speaks to a wide range of people.
DeWanda, does the mindset change a little bit, knowing that you do a lot of things where we could see you, now we're just hearing you? Is it all storytelling? Like, what can you tell me about, you know, lending your voice rather than being on screen for a project like this?
Well, I think this thought is just crossing my mind, but so much of, you know, the history of Black people in America, and even beyond that, you know, even like when you get into kind of our ancestral history, it's a, you know, vocal medium. Yeah. You know, stories are passed down. Mm-hmm. So part of it was really, you know, in a kind of beautiful way, tapping into that narrative. You know, there are stories that my grandfather, Ellis Wise, told at the junkyard that no one will ever hear, only we heard them. So, you know, there's...
Tell them, though.
Say it again?
You should tell them. Like,
I am going to tell them. He was amazing. He is why I am who I am. But, you know, just the idea, you know, Black folks are just exceptional storytellers, you know,
yes.
Whether anyone's kind of recording it or not. That could be at the barbershop and the beauty salon. That could be, you know, wherever we are, we know how to tell stories. And so this one was a real kind of opportunity to tap into that very natural talent. And also to just remember, you know, I've listened to so many podcasts. Like, podcasts, honestly, have brought me through the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And the power of just having someone essentially in your ear and in your brain.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very special relationship. So I think I walked into it knowing that, you know, that is a very special relationship that, you know, an actor can have with a potential audience member, and you know, doing our best to honor that.
Well, you know,
it's so intimate. Intimate.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the first, like, we had like 3 iterations because the incredible sound designers have been doing all this stuff with it. But when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, this is really intimate. Like, I don't actually not a podcast person. I don't listen to audio podcasts. I want to read. If I have any time, I'm reading something, you know. But this was like, wow, okay. This is
they really use just for her standalones, for her, you're here. It's so weird. For Dr. Hall's, you know, moments of aside where she's speaking directly.
Yes.
It was a different microphone.
Yeah.
You know, I just, you know, I kind of marvel at the process in addition to the story.
Just to add to what you both said a little bit as well, I just find, like, when I started Popternative in 2015, it was like a podcast interviewing people, only audio. Mm-hmm. It blows my mind a little bit how there's, like, you know, the true crime podcast, there's the audio plays. Like, it actually blows my mind, the expanded, like, audio only storytelling.
Yes.
Like, it still blows my mind.
It blows my mind. I mean, you know, the not only the technical component, but also, to your point, getting a composer in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, the Foley, the sound editing, all of the placement of the microphone, it is amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
But what were those? So, Dr. Hall, you know, you get an email or you talk to someone about, you know, Wake is going to be an audio play, right? Like the first, and then I'm just really curious, what's your specific mindset? What are the questions you have? What are what's going through your mind? Like the early stages, couple of weeks of this is going to become an audio play. I'm curious about that.
Yeah. I was kind of not paying tons of attention because I was at the Schomburg as a visiting scholar, and it was in New York in the pandemic, and I was writing. So there was all this kind of craziness. But then I was like, oh, interesting. And they're like an audio drama. It's like, what is that? I didn't even know what that was. I'm like, are you talking like War of the Worlds kind of thing? Like, I just thought of this as something that happened in the days of radio and that it wasn't happening anymore. So they had to explain it to me. And they sent me some examples, and oh God, the examples were horrific. I'm like, this is just too cluttered and weird, and I'm not,
like, maybe not this.
Maybe not this. Then I'm like, okay, let's try it.
It's true.
So,
what example? Like, it's true. Like, you have send me some examples. What are the examples coming back to you? It's so true. There's so many things that can come back because I feel like there's so much content out there. Like, DeWanda, you know this too. Like, there's just so much content out there, with the script and the visual, like the TV shows, there's so much out there. And I feel like, is it safe to say like one of your favorite things, DeWanda, about storytelling is the fact that you can instantly dive into these worlds of Wig, dive into these worlds of Jurassic World? Is that your favorite thing about this profession?
It is my favorite thing. I kind of have a rule. I joke about it, but I'm just like, I prefer to do things where you can't wash your dishes. Like if you blink and you'll miss it, and this is it's no exception. I mean, you could take a walk, I would say you could take a walk and listen, but you're going to feel it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dr. Hall, did it come to mind as well that there's in terms of watching and listening, there's active watching, there's passive listening and watching and everything. This is important. The graphic novel that you put together was very packed. It had a lot of information. So is the audio play. How important is it that you want to set up that, you go in with not really a passive, just kind of put it on and do things? Like, you do want people to pay attention. You do want people to learn. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, it's part of why I have trouble with audiobooks. Like, if I like, it's like, if I feel like it's information that I want to retain for even the rest of the day, I need to underline and take notes and whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the person that to ask, but it's a whole other thing. I mean, we had this incredible Invisible Studios, like this Mark Holden who did the sound design and the composer. And I mean, it's just a whole other thing. So I'm hoping people will just sit and listen. It's not that long. I think it's like 80 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Has it hit you both that it's going to be available pretty soon? Like, I'm sure today it hits you. Yeah. But I'm sure today obviously it hits you doing press and everything. But then Dr. Hall, does it become just kind of like, wow, like in a month, people are going to be able to see it? Does it start hitting you, or is it only starting to hit you this couple of weeks?
I'm not sure that it's hit me yet. Yeah. I think that kind of thing hits me when it's happening, because I don't know how people are going to react to it. With the graphic novel, I've been so blown away and pleased by, I've been doing book talks for like a year, traveling everywhere, and just seeing how this book has resonated with people in ways that I wasn't expecting. So it's going to be interesting to see how it connects with people.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. DeWanda, what do you think about, is it starting to hit you a little bit that it's
I do the same thing. Yeah. I like, part of the like wonder of being an artist, a writer, an actor, even a producer at this moment in our history is like, there's an instant feedback. We get instant feedback. You know what I mean? It's just like somebody will comment or DM you, or, things start popping up. So you kind of, and people are very honest and vulnerable on the internet. They'll let you know how it hit them. And I think what's beautiful about this is, the graphic novel I've read multiple times. It's a quick read as much as, you're taking in the information, and it makes you, want to know more. And I think that's a testament of something that's really exceptionally researched and really well done. Yeah. Anything that makes you just go, it's going to take you to Dr. Hall's website. You know what I mean? You're going to want to know more.
And I do want to say, Dr. Hall, thank you so much for your work. Seriously, I do want to say that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do want to say that.
Thank you.
Dr. Hall, this is a big question, so don't feel like you have to flesh it out that much. I mean, this is a big question. I'm talking about the audio play. I'm not talking about the graphic novel memoir. I'm talking about Wake, coming out June 17th exclusively on Audible. When they get to listen to it, what are you hoping they take away from it specifically? It's a big question, I understand, but if there's some things that you could share.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's been really powerful, that I wasn't expecting related to the graphic narrative, and I hope this comes up with the audio drama, is how young people, connect with it, because like one of the things I've learned when I was working on all this curriculum, there's a whole curriculum up on my website now with some teachers, and they're like, I was like, why are the students so engaged? And they're like, she's like, because they know they're being lied to. They don't know how or what, but they see someone who looks like you trying to find the truth, right? And I hope the audiobook drama works in that way also. And I hope students get clarity about or people in general. It's like, oh, I see how this stuff is being shaped and erased. And I also hope that we can bring it and people understand that this country has been committed to the refusal of history. It's not just a recent problem with book banning and whatnot, which is a nightmare, but it's part of almost like the country's DNA, and it needs to be excavated. And, we need to have repair. We need to have reconciliation. We need to face this legacy, or we're just going to continue to be poisoned as a country.
Yeah.
Do you want to add to that quickly?
Yeah, I agree. I think the first thing that struck me was I just had this deep sigh of cathartic relief, because I'd always told myself, all right, so if we're doing all these studies and we found, that scientifically we are carrying trauma in our DNA, what else are we carrying? That's something that I knew instinctively without any research whatsoever. I just knew it. I knew it based on my own life. I knew it based on the lives of my friends. I knew it based because I am a working class girl from Maryland who is now starring in a dinosaur movie. So I knew that how did I get here beyond, good fortune and hard work.
What movie was that again? I forget.
I don't know.
I tweeted about it. It's Jurassic World Domination. I think there's some dinosaurs in it.
I think something like that.
Right. It's just like there's more to this story. And I felt that, very deeply. And I think, part of the success of white supremacy has been in constructing, a deep level of shame around the history of enslavement and the history in general of what it means to be Black in America. And, I will always be there to do whatever I can to dismantle, that lie that ultimately not only doesn't serve us, but keeps us honestly bound in many ways.
Very well said.
What she said.
Absolutely. Dr. Hall, DeWanda, thank you so much for your time. Seriously, it was really great chatting with you. People are going to be able to check the audio play Wake June 17th on Audible. It was great chatting with you. And Dr. Hall, again, thank you very much for your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.